usually what I do when we sit down is you kind of sit down and look at who's bringing what to the table, right? So a good way to look at it is, okay, first things first, who's, coming in and doing the, ideation, whose idea is it? That's has some value, that has some intellectual property. The second thing I always look at is how much time, how much sweat are you going to go and put into the company? And that's usually the first thing. Now, a lot of the time I always say it's better to start off on like a partnership foot. And so that usually I'd say is where you kind of end up at 50-50. Now, if I'm going to come in as, one founder and I've got some money to put behind the company and the other founder doesn't, I would almost treat that as if it was, an initial investment into the company. So that would be the first kind of capital that came in. And that's where, that would skew the ownership percentage. So anytime someone comes and puts, capital in, I consider it a separate investment event. And that usually kind of gets everybody sorted out. And that's also where vesting comes in and is important, because as founders, we should be investing as well. So if we get 6 months down the track and, all of a sudden I choose that I'm not going to work full time, well, there's I don't have all my shares yet. And so we can sit down and figure out a new kind of conversation around how that works. But I think when I speak to most founders, and I can't ever say I've been in this conversation, I've never had to make this decision for myself. What I've always seen is founders that start on an equal level will always go to bat for each other, as far as the company comes. I've seen where founders have, maybe they come in at a different time or they don't start it at so one founder starts it and then another founder comes in later. That, is always going to end up very skewed and, doesn't have a true founder relationship. But I've always found the best founders are the ones that own it equally. And then if one of them's put some capital in, then they up, then it goes up, because at the end of the day, they're partners, right? And so if one partner has slightly more shares, then it's not a true partnership. And I find the best founder relationships are, partnership based.